Fractured truth. He woke up in a strange room with no memory, and a message on his phone that changed everything. Find the truth before it finds you. Michael's eyes slowly opened. A bright light hurt his eyes, like the sun shining too close. His head throbbed with pain. He tried to move, but his body felt weak and heavy. His mouth was dry and he could barely breathe. Where am I? Who am I? He looked around. White walls. A small wooden table. A window showed tall buildings and busy streets outside. The sounds of the city drifted in. Cars honking, people talking, footsteps rushing by. Michael tried to remember his name, his past, but his mind was blank, like a computer with no files. Where am I? He whispered. A soft voice answered. You're safe. Michael turned his head. A woman stood in the doorway. She smiled gently. I'm Sarah. You're in a hospital. Michael's heart beat faster. Hospital? What happened? Sarah walked closer and sat beside him. You had an accident. You lost your memory. You can't remember anything. Michael felt panic. Nothing? Not even my name? Sarah shook her head slowly. No, but you'll get better. Michael looked at his hands. They were strong and rough, with small scars. He tried harder to remember. Nothing came. On the table lay a phone. Michael picked it up and the screen lit up. A message flashed. Find the truth before it finds you. His breath caught. Who sent this? What truth? He looked at Sarah. Who sent this message? Sarah's smile faded for a moment. I don't know, but you must be careful. Suddenly, the door opened again. Two men in dark suits entered. Their faces were serious and cold. We need to talk to him, one said. Michael felt fear. He wanted to run, but his body was weak. Sarah stood in front of him. Wait, she said. He's not ready. The men looked angry, but left. The door closed behind them. Michael's mind raced. Why were these men after him? What was the truth? He looked at the phone again. The message stayed on the screen. Days passed. Michael stayed in the hospital. Sarah visited often. She told him small things about the city, the world. But she never talked about the men. One night, Michael woke up in the dark room. The phone beeped. Another message. They are closer than you think. His heart pounded. He was not safe. Someone was watching him. Michael stood and looked out the window. The city lights blinked like stars. He knew he had to run, find the truth. But where to start? Michael left the hospital the next morning. Sarah helped him get dressed and gave him a bag with some clothes. Be careful, she said softly. The world is not what it seems. He nodded. His mind was empty, but his heart was full of questions. He walked into the busy streets. People moved fast, not noticing him. But Michael noticed everything. The sounds, the smells, the faces. He felt a small spark inside, a hope, a desire to find the truth. Suddenly, his phone beeped again. Look behind you. Michael turned quickly. A shadow moved between the crowds. A man in a dark coat and sunglasses watched him. Michael's breath caught. The chase had begun. He ran, through the crowded streets, across the bridges, and down dark alleys. The man followed but kept a distance. Michael ducked into a small cafe. He hid behind a pillar, heart pounding. Who are you? He whispered. The man's face was cold, but familiar. Michael wanted to remember. Suddenly, the man spoke. You don't know who you are, but I do. Michael's hand shook. Who are you? The man smiled faintly. You have something, a secret, and many want it. Before Michael could ask more, the man disappeared into the crowd. Michael knew he was in danger, but he also knew he was close. Days later, Michael found a small notebook on a park bench. Inside were notes, strange symbols, names, places. He felt a connection, like the notebook belonged to him. He met Sarah again and showed her the book. This looks important, she said. Maybe it can help you remember. Together, they started to decode the notes. Each clue opened a new door. Michael's past was a puzzle he needed to solve before it destroyed him. Every secret has a price, and Michael's past begins to catch up with him as shadows move closer in the night. Michael stared at the notebook in his hands, the strange symbols and scribbled words making little sense. But inside, he felt something, a flicker of recognition. This wasn't just a book. It was a map to his past. Sarah sat beside him, watching closely. We need to find out who wrote this and why it's important. Michael nodded, but his mind was restless. The city outside moved like a river around him, full of faces he did not know but needed to. He wasn't safe yet, not by a long shot. Over the next few days, Michael and Sarah worked together. They studied the notebook, piecing together names, dates, and locations. Each page revealed a fragment of a story of betrayal, danger, and secrets hidden in plain sight. One name kept appearing, Elias Kane. Michael's lips moved slowly as he repeated it. Elias Kane, who is he? Sarah's eyes darkened. He's powerful, dangerous. People say he controls things you can't see. Michael felt a cold chill. Was Elias Kane connected to the men chasing him? Was he the key to the truth? That night, Michael couldn't sleep. His phone buzzed again. Trust no one. The message was short but terrifying. Who could he trust? He looked around his small apartment. The city lights blinked through the window, but they felt distant, cold. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the room. Michael turned fast, heart pounding. No one was there. Was he imagining things? Or was someone watching? Michael's thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. Sarah stood there, eyes wide. Michael, you need to come with me, she said urgently. They're here. Before he could ask who, a loud crash echoed from the street. The windows shook. Michael grabbed the notebook and followed Sarah into the dark night. Outside, the city was alive with danger. Men in black suits moved quickly, searching, watching. Michael's breath caught as he recognized one of them. The man in the dark coat who had warned him before. We have to hide, Sarah whispered. They ducked into an old building, its walls cracked and faded. Inside, shadows danced with the light from a broken street lamp. Michael clutched the notebook tightly. This was no accident. The past was hunting him. Days passed like a blur. Michael and Sarah moved from place to place, always one step ahead. The notebook was their guide, but every clue seemed to lead to more questions. One night, in a quiet cafe, Michael finally spoke. Why am I so important? What do I have that everyone wants? Sarah looked at him sadly. Because you remember something you don't know yet. Michael's head spun. His memories were a puzzle of missing pieces. Suddenly, a voice called from the street. Michael! He turned to see a young woman waving. She looked familiar, but he couldn't place her. Sarah's face went pale. Don't trust her. But Michael's curiosity won. He stepped outside. The woman smiled. I'm Emma. We used to work together. Michael's heart raced. Was she friend or foe? Emma led him to a quiet park. She spoke fast. Elias Kane has been watching you. You were part of something big, a secret project, but it went wrong. You were erased. Michael shook his head. Erased? What does that mean? Emma's eyes filled with fear. They took your memories to protect themselves. But the truth is dangerous. You have to remember before it's too late. Michael felt the weight of her words. His life was not his own. Back at Sarah's apartment, Michael looked again at the notebook. The final page held a message in bold letters. Find a key. Find yourself. He knew what he had to do. Find a key to unlock his past before the shadows caught him forever. The closer Michael gets to the truth, the darker the shadows become. And the key to his past is hidden where no one dares to look. Michael stared at the words on the last page of the notebook. Find the key. Find yourself. But what did it mean? What key? And where? His mind raced with questions. The past felt like a heavy fog, clouding everything. But inside, something was waking up, a small, burning spark of memory. Sarah watched him closely. We need to find the key before Elias Kane does. Michael nodded. But where do we start? The notebook held a map, a hidden place deep in the city's old district, a place forgotten by time. Michael and Sarah decided to go there. The sun was low when they reached a narrow alley filled with crumbling buildings and shadows. The air smelled of dust and rain. This place feels alive, Michael whispered. Sarah shivered. And dangerous. They stepped inside an abandoned warehouse. The wooden floor creaked under their feet. Old machinery stood silent like ghosts. Michael's heart pounded. Somewhere here was the key, his past. They explored the dark corners. Suddenly, Michael's foot hit something hard. He bent down and picked up a small metal box, rusted but locked tight. This must be it, he said. Sarah looked at him worried. Be careful. Michael opened the box with a small tool Sarah had given him. Inside lay a tiny USB drive. His breath caught. "What is this?" Michael asked. Sarah took the drive and plugged it into her laptop. The screen flickered, then a video played. A man's face appeared. Strong, serious, and tired. "My name is Michael," or at least it was the man said. The video showed scenes Michael couldn't remember. Meetings, secret experiments, threats. The man explained he had been part of a government project to create a powerful mind control device. But something went wrong. The project was shut down and all evidence was erased, including his memories. "But someone wants the device," the man said. "They will stop at nothing to get it." Michael's mind exploded. This was his life, his past. Suddenly, the laptop beeped. A warning message flashed. "Intruder alert. Security breach." The warehouse door slammed shut. Footsteps echoed. Michael and Sarah froze. The shadows had found them. Gunshots rang out. Michael ducked behind a machine. Sarah pulled out a small pistol. "Stay close," she whispered. Men in black suits stormed in, searching. Michael's heart pounded. He wanted to fight, but he was scared. A bullet hit the wall near him. "Run!" Sarah shouted. They sprinted through the warehouse, dodging beams and crates. Outside, rain poured. They disappeared into the night. Michael's world had changed forever. The truth was deadly. He held the USB drive tight. "This is just the beginning," Sarah said. Michael looked up at the stormy sky. The past was chasing him. But now he had the key, and he was ready to fight. When the past refuses to stay buried, every step becomes a fight, and the truth Michael seeks is closer than ever. But so are his enemies. The rain fell hard, soaking Michael and Sarah as they ran through the dark streets. The city lights blurred in the wet night, shadows moving in every corner. Michael's heart pounded like a drum. The USB drive burned in his pocket, a small flame of hope and danger. "They're still after us," Sarah said, her voice low and tense. "We can't go back." Michael nodded. "Where do we go now?" Sarah looked around quickly. "To someone I trust. Someone who can help." They moved silently, avoiding main roads. Every sound made Michael jump. Footsteps behind them, a car slowing down, voices in the dark. They reached a small apartment on the edge of the city. Sarah knocked 3 times, then waited. The door opened slowly. An older man with sharp eyes looked at them. "Sarah," he said, his voice calm but serious. "You're late." Michael felt the weight of the moment. This was not just a fight for his past. It was a battle for his life. Inside, the man introduced himself as David. He was a former government agent, someone who had worked on the same secret project Michael was part of. David took the USB and examined it carefully. "This contains everything," he said. "The project, the mind control device, everything they tried to erase." Michael leaned forward. "Why do they want it? What's the plan?" David's eyes darkened. "Power. Control. Imagine a world where thoughts can be controlled. No free will." Michael shivered. The nightmare was real. Suddenly, David's phone rang. He answered quietly, then froze. "They found us," he whispered. Outside, heavy footsteps approached. The men in black suits were closing in. "We have to move," David said. "Now." They grabbed what they could and escaped through a back door. Michael's mind raced. Every second counted. They ran through narrow alleys and underground tunnels. Michael's legs burned, but he pushed on. Finally, they stopped in a hidden basement filled with old computers and maps. David turned to Michael. "This is where we fight back." Sarah handed Michael a gun. "You're stronger than you think." Michael looked at the weapon, then at his friends. He wasn't just running anymore. He was ready to fight. Days passed. They planned their next move. Michael studied the files on the USB. Names, locations, dates. Elias Kane's name was everywhere. "We need to find him," Michael said. "He's the key." David nodded. "But he's dangerous. Very dangerous." Michael clenched his fists. "I have to face him. For my past. For the truth." One night, Michael had a strange dream. He was in a dark room. A voice whispered, "Find the truth. Face the fear." He woke up sweating. The past was calling him. He knew what he had to do. All secrets lead to one final confrontation. Michael must face Elias Kane, and the truth that will change everything. Michael stood at the edge of the city, the skyline lit by the early morning sun. His heart was heavy, but his mind was clear. Today was the day he would face Elias Kane. He clutched the USB drive tightly, the key to everything. Sarah and David were by his side, their eyes full of determination. "Are you ready?" Sarah asked softly. Michael nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." They made their way to an old skyscraper, Elias Kane's headquarters. The building was cold and empty like a tomb. Inside, shadows moved. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the halls. "Michael, you came." Elias Kane appeared, calm and powerful, his eyes cold like ice. "You don't remember, do you?" "But I remember everything." Michael's fists clenched. "You destroyed my project. You tried to stop me." Elias smiled darkly. "But now, I will finish what I started." The final battle began. Michael and Elias fought, not just with fists, but with words and memories. Elias tried to break Michael's mind, to control him. But Michael's past was stronger than any weapon. Piece by piece, his memories returned. He remembered the project, the people he loved, and the sacrifices made. With Sarah and David's help, Michael found the strength to resist. He used the USB drive to reveal Elias's plans to the world. The truth was out. Elias Kane was defeated, but Michael knew the fight was never over. He looked to the future, uncertain but hopeful. The past was fractured, but now whole. Michael was free. The end.